Hello, hello. I'm going to attempt to venture into a topic today that's deep and I'm not sure that I'm the expert in this field. I'm not, and so anything I say is just my opinion, and take it with a grain of salt. I'm uh, I'm not I'm not the expert in this field at all. But what's come up is to talk about making amends, and you know, I my experience uh, on a personal note is that I've probably never been really great at this. I've certainly made lots of them, and continue to. Um, and for many reasons, if it comes up, I think that I had a teacher years ago, and she used to say, if something comes up three times, then deal with it. Look into it. What is it? What's going on with it? And so if an amend comes up, and I still created havoc, even in recovery, and I've still, things have happened that I've needed to continue to work on, even no matter how far in recovery I've been. So for me, I'm still making amends, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the early days of amends, though, um, in this talk today, and first of all, why? Why do we need to make amends? I've seen lots of guys come into recovery, and they're, really sincere and really earnestly, want to get, the hard steps done, that what they call the hard steps, and so they want to get four done and five done. They want to look at their resentments and their fears and their their character defects, and really get at it, and they want to do 6 and 7, and make a list in 8, and then boom, it stops. And in the book it says that, we really urge men and women to go at this, and there's some amends that I remember I was with a fellow one day, and he was talking about his mother, and he had a huge resentment. Whoa, it was a big one, and he said, "There's no way I'm ever going to make an amend to my mom." And in his mind, that he's the one that deserved an amend, and it's as far as many of us ever got, is to see where other people had wronged us, But if we really get the depth of who we are, and how we've been, even as children, sometimes in controlling and manipulating, and even when we were too young to know better, um, and so it's to find that place in our heart where we recognize that, say, mom or dad did the best that they could, and that we just needed to clean up our side of the street, and not wait for anybody to really do anything else, and that was the kind of the crux of amends. What's my side of the street? And if we're holding on to something, it keeps us in, that low level of guilt and shame and fear and anger, and when we're there, we're always struggling, because we're in a very low vibration. When we come up through courage enough to say, okay, look, I screwed up here, you know, and even when I was young, to own that, that we had done whatever we had done, and no matter, what age we were, and that was great. I mean, with my own mother, I remember that I went back and made amends several times. It was not easy, and somehow it never felt enough for me, and so I probably went to see her about three times with the purpose of making an amend, and and it was hard for my mom to let me do that. So that can happen, when we're making an amend, and she used to say, "Oh, you were perfect. You didn't do anything," but and that was I knew that wasn't true, so it took some working to go back and do that over again. So I encourage everybody, whether they're financial amends, whether they're amends in relationships, at one level. Now I didn't see most of my life how desperately, as a practicing addict and even in recovery, empty I felt. And so I was in a lot of relationships with, particularly with women, to try to, fill me up. And that I know isn't, that's a hard thing to see, right? It's for all of us. So in a way, never been there really honestly. I didn't know at the time that was the truth, but I knew later as I did the work, that, oh my gosh, I have always been dishonest. And so I've made amends. I believe in all instances of relationships that I've had that where I hadn't been truly there. So I think that that's so important. Making amends is where the freedom lies. It really does. And so I actually have one that's been coming up lately that I did make an amend, and a year ago for something that I did, and but it keeps coming up as if it's not finished. So I'm gonna do another one. So I will call that person, and today actually, and just to um, open the conversation again, and see if there's anything that's left unsaid. I mean, part of our amends is to amend what we think needs to be spoken about, but then always to ask, so what else? Is there anything I've missed? Is there anything that that person would like to talk about? So open the door to let them share their experience. So amends, though, are very, very important when we've made a big change in our life, and we don't want to go back. We want to live in the new freedom. There's a price to pay, and so I encourage you, all of you, to go back and there's in the recovery program, it talks about, we sit down with our sponsor and go over each one before we do it, so that we make sure that we're on the mark with our intent, with our context. So and we pray about it, so that we're bringing healing into the conversation. So that's a little talk about amends. I think we could talk about it a lot more, and I'm interested in what you might have to say about amends. And if you've still got people on your list that you haven't got to for one reason or another, we get to this point where, we're experiencing the benefits in halfway through step 9, where the promises are listed, and we're like, wow, this is great. And so don't stop there, don't stop there. Don't take your foot off the gas. And there's more to be done, right? Now, we're going to read a little bit from the book I've been reading here now for a while, 24-hour day book, and we're darn near finished our first year of this. Isn't that exciting? What's the date? The date is the 19th. The 19th of April. Here we go. So this little reading, I enjoy doing this. It's a fun. This little book was written in 1954, the 24-hour day book by a fellow who was very active in the 12-step world at the time. And it's been a standard for many of us for many years, a daily reading. I'm big on daily practices to bring me into the moment, because it's easy for me to jump out of bed and like get at the day, oh my gosh, we're really busy, and miss this. And so I encourage you through meditation in the morning and some inspirational literature like this in the morning, and some prayer in the morning, and then away you go. Okay. Since it says April 19th, thought for the day, since I've been putting sobriety into my life, I've been taking out a lot of good things. I can describe it best as a kind of a quiet satisfaction. I feel good. I feel right with the world, on the right side of the fence. As long as I put sobriety into my life, almost everything I take out is good. The satisfaction I get out of living a sober life is made up of a lot of little things. You have that ambition to do things. He goes from I to you, so I'm going to stay with the I. I have that ambition to do things I didn't feel like doing when I was drinking. Am I getting satisfaction of living a sober life? Yes. Beautiful. Meditation for the day is a glorious way, the upward way. There are wonderful discoveries in the realm of the spirit. There are tender intimacies in the quiet times of communion with God. There is an amazing, almost incomprehensible understanding of my fellow men. On the upward way, you can have all the strength you need from that higher power. You cannot make too many demands on him for strength. He gives you all the power you need as long as you're moving up along the upward way. So looking towards, I was with a man last night, and we were talking about, letting go of the old way, living in fear and guilt and shame, and 6 and 7 helps us to let go of our defects of character, and through the process of 4 and 5, we get to see what they are, and what we're letting go of. We don't actually work on them, but we become aware that the things, the selfishness and the fear that we're asking to have taken away. And that's the life he's talking about there. And then we're also looking towards how can we serve in each moment, and which is pretty sweet. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may see the beautiful horizons ahead on the upward way. I pray that I may keep going forward to the more abundant life. Yes. Beautiful little reading. We're so close, another 10 days or so, 10 or 12 days, and we're done that whole year. I'm going to do something else. I still haven't decided what it's going to be, but we're going to read something else. A couple of quick things. I just want to mention that I have a YouTube channel. I'd love it if you go and subscribe there. And there's a lot of videos there if you'd like to look at some of them. And also, I'm thinking about a weekend, doing a weekend big book study, 3 or 4 days of residential big book study in southern Alberta. So there might be room for 12 or 15 people. I'm not sure how many we can have. So somewhere in that neighborhood. Tell me what you think of that. If that's an idea that would be of interest to you guys. So we're going to do a little meditation. I do this every day. I lead this little 3-minute meditation. Honestly, it's 3 or 4 minutes, so that we can practice together, dropping in and becoming one with spirit, one with the universe, all right? One with now. And so here we go. Let's give that a shot. Close your eyes. Just going to drop into the silence, into the stillness. Just use the breath to come into this moment, into now. Just use your breath to be here now. Feel your body. Know that we're like a guest in this body. We get to to experience it, to be in it as it grows from childhood into adult, into senior, into the end, the passing of the body. We've been in it. It's been a great host for us. And we have gratitude for the body. Just experience it and drop into it. We are not the body. And we are not our thoughts either. So we can just watch our thoughts as they come. Thoughts come, just let them go. If we are not our body, we are not our thoughts, we are not our story, who are we? If there are sounds around, just include them. Thoughts come, just gently let them go. Back to the breath. Just relax. Breathe. Okay, you can stay here as long as you like. And you can do this whenever you like. Okay, love you guys. Thank you.